What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. I've had requests to cover Amazing Rare Reshiram with the Lost Zone engine, so we're going to take a quick look at an Amazing Rare Reshiram deck list today. Now, I don't think this is the best way to use the Lost Zone engine's potential, just because Reshiram has a couple of flaws with it when being used as the main focus of the deck. But that's not to say that this cannot function and it can't win games. This can have some very strong performances. I just don't think it's consistently and across a wide spread of matchups what you'll want to do with the Lost Zone engine. But if it is what you choose to want to build, because it's really cool to be doing all this damage with Amazing Rare Reshiram, it's an awesome looking card. We've also got Radiant Charizard in the deck. If you want to try this deck out, I think this is going to be a great starting point for you. So before we get into it, though, shout out to my sponsors, PotownStore.com, PokemonCard.io, CardTrooperGames.com, Beast Coast Pokemon, and Dragon Shield sleeves. You can find coupon codes, affiliate links, and everything else in the description down below. And be sure to subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. So, Reshiram has the amazing Blaze attack, Fire, Lightning, Dark to do 270, and then it also does 60 damage to itself. The amazing rares were hardly used prior to the Lost Zone engine. And the Lost Zone engine really helps them because Mirage Gate specializes in accelerating different types of energies to Pokemon, and the amazing rares all need different types of energy. So this amazing Blaze doing 270 falls short of knocking out a couple of key players in the format like Palkia V-Star, Arceus V-Star, and Giratina V-Star, but with just a single Moltres from Pokemon Go, you fix that. You can now do 280 with the attack because this makes your basic fire Pokemon's attacks do plus 10 more. You could also consider adding a Zigzagoon into the deck, but I am going for full consistency here and using my scoop up nets for just turboing through those Comfeys and using as many flower selecting abilities as possible to get into the Mirage Gate turns. So, Comfy's Flower Selecting allows you to look at the top two cards of your deck and put one in the Lost Zone. And then we have Chorus's Experiment, which looks at the top five cards of your deck and puts three of them into your hand and the other two into the Lost Zone. Chorus's Experiment is going to be an important card to be playing as often as possible, turn one and turn two consistently. So, we do have two Pokegears in the deck, so that if you hit a Pokegear and not a Colress, you have an extra chance of hitting a Colress for turn one and turn two. And then from there, you usually have enough cards in the Lost Zone to start using Mirage Gate when needed. Now, the early turns, you'll probably attack with Cramorant because it can attack for free if you have four cards in the Lost Zone, and 110 damage is going to set up just about everything to be knocked out by Reshiram or Radiant Charizard later on. Now, the one of the weaknesses of Reshiram is that you'll swing for 270, and if you take a knockout, that's great. Um, it does 60 damage to itself, so if the opponent bosses around it next turn and hits something else, you'll usually knock yourself out with Amazing Blaze. But we do have switch carts in this deck, which you switch your Pokemon. It's just a normal switch, and we're playing all basics in the deck, so it's always better to just play switch cart over switch if you're playing all basics. So you switch your active basic with one of your benched Pokemon, and then you heal 30 from the Pokemon that was in the active. Excuse me, that was in the active. So you can switch Reshiram to the bench and then bring it back out and then do Amazing Blaze again, and it won't knock itself out. So that's a cool interaction with Switch Cart. But the other weakness that I was going to mention is that um, Reshiram does need three different types of energy, and you will need to Mirage Gate to it consistently uh, every time it gets knocked out, and you need to use a new one. So originally, I had Fire Energy as the lowest count in the deck because you can use Magma Basin in tandem with Reshiram, and then Mirage Gate the Dark and the Lightning down. But I switched to making Fire the most frequent energy type in the deck because it also is the type that Radiant Charizard needs. So I went back and forth on the energy counts. I think this is functional. This is fine. You just do have to be careful about lost zoning, dark, and lightning energies. You don't want to lost zone them. And if you do lost zone any dark or lightning, make sure it's just one. You can't really discard, you can't really lost zone more than one unless it's very, very end game and you know that you have what you need. And then you can use Ordinary Rod when your Reshiram gets knocked out, you Ordinary Rod them back in, and then you can Mirage Gate and then Magma Base in the fire energy. So you don't have to Ordinary Rod twice to get all three types of energy back into the deck if there weren't any in the deck already. So we're playing a high count of choice belt as well, so we can get that maximum damage output as often as possible, and also so Radiant Charizard can hit the 280 that we wanted to hit. We have Lost Vacuum, which is good for removing something like a big charm so that we can get those one-hit knockouts. And I think this deck is going to mainly struggle against other single prize attackers because we're doing a lot of work to get our attacks off, and they might not be doing nearly as much commitment for their Pokemon as we're doing for Amazing Blaze on Amazing Rare Reshiram. So, um, yeah, I think this deck should be good against, V focused decks, V star focused, V max focused decks, even maybe. But then it's also going to struggle against decks that tech in Empoleon V, which a lot of decks can and will tech in because Empoleon V is going to shut off Comfey and Cramorant. It doesn't shut off Radiant Charizard because Radiant Charizard does have a rule box. And if you can get cards into the Lost Zone fast enough to use Mirage Gate, then Reshiram's just going to smack Empoleon, and that's not even going to be a problem. This deck probably will struggle against decks that are focused on like 4 Cramorant. It's definitely rough against Regigigas as well. Um, but yeah, other than that, I think you should have a good time with this deck. And like I said, I wanted to make this deck profile because people were requesting it, because people are excited to see the amazing rare Reshiram and amazing rares in general just get used now that we have the Mirage Gate. Um, Mirage Gate's such a cool card, one of the best cards in the set, potentially the best card in the set. So yeah, once you get 4 cards in the Lost Zone, you can start using Cram. 7 cards in the Lost Zone, you can start using Mirage Gate, and you're off to the races. So let me know what you think about this deck list in the comments down below. If you've built an amazing rare Reshiram deck and how much different it is from mine. Like I said, I wanted to make this a kind of consistent baseline starter list for y'all that will actually function, and then you guys can make it spicy after that if you want to. So let me know in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.